Alright, guys, welcome back. We are into the first game of our best of three, and it's gonna be Asterix going up against Callisto. Callisto fighting back from the lower bracket from this morning all the way now. They've played quite a few games, and they have earned their spot in the finals right now as they go against the Season 1 reigning champs, Season 2 missing champs, and Season 3 possible champs, Asterix.
Yep, Callisto hoping to make that miracle run through the it's like the SKT miracle run where you're not
This
that
comparison is very
where in summer you don't win summer and then you have to play the gauntlet.
Yeah.
That run straight through to the grand finals. Where we're at right now, guys, we're at best of a three series, and Callisto been playing since this morning. Bit of a rough day for
Long day,
them so
at
far.
least, yeah.
Super long day. I mean, that last game that we saw of them versus Corgis, but very back and forth. I think it ended somewhere close to 45 minutes as well.
Yeah.
Easily the
There
longest
were some
game.
mistakes on both sides, but I think Vicky did, pull her fair share of weight, and it's kind of observed in this game. You can see during the pick and ban, literally 3 ADC bans coming out from Asterix. They're like, now we're not going to give you anything that you could possibly play to carry. So on the other side as well, we do see Callisto removing the Aphelios and the Misfortune because they're on red side. So these are power picks you don't want to give over. In consequence, Vicky has defaulted to the Lucian ADC, whereas it might just be Ashe. Yumi here, I don't really like Ashe Yumi. Yeah, I think Ashe Nautilus is better. If you're going to play Yumi, you can play it something with Ezreal, a bit more safety in that sort of duo. But right now, it's the Mordekaiser, Ashe, and Nautilus first rotation coming in.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of very good 10-3 power pickups, of course. The ban phase of Aphelios, straight up ban Jarvan, as well as MF, have been banned out. So things like the Mordekaiser, the Rumble, looks like it is going to be a Pantheon. Yep.
So
All very
this-
strong Pantheon Rumble. To get off the Lucian, actually. It's a very solid team fight.
These 3 picks are all like multiple flex picks.
Yep.
I know, in FSL they don't really play mid Lucian, top Lucian, but I'm just saying there's a possibility if you need to, it gives you flexibility. Now, they ban out the Diana. I think they should be banning out the jungle pool instead. In this case, the Leona will be the pick of the ban because they already got the Nautilus for themselves. They don't want Decor to get anything too good, or at least in this matchup. If you ban the Leona, the next ban should be the Morgana to make sure Nautilus is fine in bot lane.
Yeah, they're just trying to cut off the engage potential for this side of Callisto. So pretty much the only engage that they're running right now is the
Gragas.
Pantheon.
If you're smart now, you ban Gragas because you want to remove that early power on that jungle pick that Lushless has. Sejuani is also an option, but I think Gragas holds more value here because in terms of how you clear the jungle and how quickly you impact the lanes, Gragas has a lot more upfront early power as compared to Sejuani.
Yep, and Gragas and Sejuani, of course, are champions at Lustrous. I kind of want to say that the junglers that she plays the most.
Okay.
Definitely last season, those were the junglers she was most comfortable on. It's going to be, yep, as you predicted, it's the Morgana. So it's a
Ooh,
Leona
hello?
ban.
Do my eyes deceive me?
Lucian top?
Is this gonna be a
Wait
Lucian
a
flex?
minute.
Oh.
Lucian top?
Okay. I'm not gonna commit too fast, but I'm gonna say Lucian top is a great counter to Mordekaiser. We've seen it a lot in the LCK. In terms of laning only, yeah, it's a good pick. But in team fights, navigating the deep, murky waters of the CC from Ashe and Nautilus as Lucian becomes very tricky.
Yeah, not just as a Lucian, because as we were saying, like they don't have a lot of, they don't really quite have a tank. They don't have a front line. They have that CC besides the Pantheon. So pretty much right now they've got 3 squishy carries.
They need to pick up a frontline tank in the jungle, right? So Set is an option in the sense that you are still a frontliner and you will be building health. Another option that, unfortunately has been banned out was Sejuani, that also fulfills the same role. If you're inclined to, Zac does the same thing as well in being a tanky frontliner that can soak aggression. It also has very good synergy with Rumble, so in that sense, yeah, I wouldn't knock that pick all too much, but in this case, it's going to be the jungle Pantheon with no true tank on this team. Although with the Thresh, navigating team fights will be slightly easier now that you have the Lantern to help you out. On the other side, Olaf will be the lock-in for Lustreless here.
Yeah, actually, Asterix, I think they've drafted a pretty scary composition. So you've got Aya on Ashe, who's always going to have that hyper carry potential. And then with that last pickup of the Olaf for Lustrous, kind of says that, they want to go hard level 6. But then because they have the Mordekaiser, they got this Sylas and Ashe, they're going to actually scale so well. And
Sylas pick here is like a stroke of genius because if I'm not wrong, when you hijack the Rumble Equalizer, your ratios are actually better as Sylas with the Equalizer than Rumble
what?
itself. Yeah, I think it's a 1-to-1 ratio on AP, and something to that like ridiculous extent. But essentially, you will be able to counter like the equalizer power by stealing it for yourself. And of course, the issue right now is whether the Sylas pick, because we've seen it fall off a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
There were a bunch of key nerfs to Sylas, especially the way the champion plays. I think people are complaining now it's a bit like a AP assassin because a lot of your damage is offloaded on the E.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Abscond Abduct now I think has a very high AP ratio scaling, but at the same time it's like a bursty thing. It's not
Yeah.
consistent damage that Sylas always had in the past with the passive on the chains.
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd change because I feel like a lot of the criticism for against Sylas when he was really kind of broken was that he was too bursty
Yeah.
because you would see like the def cap, there's the front loading that damage, and the thing is that's still kind of the way that Sylas is being
Right.
played right now. So I'm not really sure if the nerfs were as effective, but I mean it's definitely going to be a scary pick in the hands of Candleborn, who, as we all
It's very much
know,
a style.
yep, it's her style. She loves playing those AP
I could,
assassins.
I could see the theory behind this though, like all negativity aside from the pick, just the kit alone, because you do have a magic shield against Rumble. Melee versus melee is probably one of the best ways for Sylas to trade, and with the Kingslayer you do heal up pretty well. I could see how the kit works as a pseudo counter pick to Rumble, just because everything that Rumble does, you can deflect and bring your own cards to the table.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried as to how Callisto are going to really play this composition, especially in those team fights. It's something that we keep talking about because, sure, they did pick the Thresh to help out the Pantheon in the fights. When you take a look at the Asterisk composition, they've got such a good 5v5 potential. They've got the Nautilus, they've got the Olaf, and I mean Sylas, he gets fairly tanky later on in the game as well. And then Mordekaiser with the potential to just pop your R and then lock down any one of the Callisto carries. It's really tricky for Callisto. I think it's going to come down a lot to how they individually kite around, like Vicky and Boozy Life. We've seen them pull off some incredible, like sidestepping incredible plays so far in the last 2 days, but I think
need
this is going to
to
be tricky.
Highlight that with Mordekaiser in this game, it changes the dynamics of this team, because if you saw the previous game against Corgi, but how did they win? It was purely of virtue of top and AD carry pairing up. One is attacking the back line, the other one is cleaning up the front line.
Mhm.
Foxy had very minimal impact in team fights because she was always getting caught out and zoned away. If your team is a 2-threat lineup and Mordekaiser is there, suddenly it becomes a 1-threat lineup because pulling someone to the death realm completely negates all their power in team fights. So right now, Meo Knight, all she has to do is literally just stay alive and fight, press R, right? And this also forces Lucian and Ezreal to pay the QSS tax. Otherwise, they just don't contribute in fights. Like, even though you are ranged versus melee in the death realm, Mordekaiser has more than enough power if you know, control the terrain properly to take the 1v1.
Exactly. That's kind of part of the reason why Mordekaiser got to become so popular in the last months, because even if you do go down in lane, if you get absolutely countered, you're still always going to have the utility that comes out from her. You can go 0-3 in lane, but once you show up in a team fight, you press R, you're always going to have that lockdown.
No other champion has that level of utility as well. Think about if you're going for a Baron play. 50-50 Baron, Mordekaiser just has to show up, press R on the opponent jungler, you are guaranteed a smite advantage, right? These are the kind of things you can use Mordekaiser for, even when you're behind. It doesn't matter if you're even or falling behind. You can still do the same plays. And like you alluded to earlier, the idea of removing someone from the fight without actually having to kill them is great as well. You buy so much space for your team to clean up. Overall, draft-wise, I feel like it's pretty even, but I give the small advantage in terms of power over to the side of Asterix, just because they have a lot more on-demand CC. Margin for error in terms of execution is a lot smaller, because if you're calling for a fight to happen, you say, okay, we're going to go in now, it's just press R. Either Ashe or Nautilus decides to go in and we go, and then everyone else follows up. Inversely, the margin for error on the side of Callisto is very wide, because if any one of your primary damage sources get caught out, and for the most part they're kind of immobile, you probably just lose the fight straight off of that. Like if Lucian, Rumble, or Ezreal are zoned away, a large portion of your damage goes away.
Yeah, definitely Callisto's lineup much harder to execute than the Asterix one. I think all eyes are gonna probably be on the Pantheon, especially once he hits that level 6 mark, to really make things happen around the map. Because as you were saying, the 5v5
Yep.
advantage does go over to Asterix. Callisto's real strength is really going to be in those 2v2s, those 3v2s. That's really where we need to see Corn shine. And just historically, I think based off of the games earlier today, I mean, right now she's playing that Pantheon versus the Olaf. We saw her on the Olaf earlier. Positioning wasn't all the best, although it is tricky because the Olaf jungle kind of necessitates you to play just that one
Yeah.
particular style you have to position. It's kind of like if you're playing something
Only
like the
one way, yeah.
Fiddlesticks, the Shaco, you have to know how to play just that champion. So we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was just because she was playing the Olaf earlier, but yeah, we're definitely going to need to see a lot more from Korn at this game if Callisto want to win this game one.
It also helps if the solo laners can find their own leads. So in the early phases of the game, I kind of want to pay a little bit more attention to Boozy Life versus Mayo in the top side, because if Boozy Life understands the dynamics of this, she could actually end up zoning Mayo away. And we're talking about the utility of Mordekaiser still being present if you're behind. The value of the Lucian goes up as well if you're hit. Like, the scaling is more exponential for Lucian, right? So it's not just about putting Mordekaiser behind, it's about putting yourself ahead. And if you can find plates, you can deny CES. As the Lucian, I feel like there's a lot more value in that. So hopefully, they can play the top side and see if they can get the Lucian going.
Yep. We are in a bit of a pause situation right now at the start of game number one. Not sure yet about the reason of the pause. I'm gonna guess it's connectivity. It's been the
In the lobby, Candleburn was having some issues with
her mic. Yeah.
So it could be a possible, rectification on the end of Asterix. This is pretty much the last BO3 before we take a short break while we wait for details of FSL Elite to be announced. All other regions in the running have more or less found their representatives. It is Lancers for Thailand, I believe the Halia ladies from the Philippines. Yeah. And the newly branded Box Gaming's, I can't remember what the name of the current sponsorship is, but the Vietnamese representatives.
V Gaming.
Yes, V Gaming.
V Gaming, that's the
Previously, yeah.
one. Mm-hmm.
Now they've been renamed, and they will be the Vietnamese representatives.
Yeah, and it was really exciting for Vietnam. We were casting that, I think it was the first week of January, and they were playing on 10.1. They dethroned the previous Vietnamese winners. This is their first time making it to FSL Elite, whereas Team Lannister from Thailand as well as Liab Esports from the Philippines. This is their
champions.
The 2-peat is second time in a row for both of these teams from their respective countries. Of course, guys, if you haven't heard, FSL Elite was slated to be March 7th and 8th next month over here in Singapore, but due to the recent coronavirus outbreak and the whole situation going on, FSL Elite has been postponed. However, that didn't, of course, affect our current SGMYID qualifiers since they are played online, but because FSL Elite is an offline event, we're just, we don't want to throw caution to the wind. We're just playing it all a bit safe. So the new date hasn't yet been announced. But however, since this is the very last qualifier for the seasons of FSL after today, after this series, we will have locked in all 4 teams that will be taking part in the FSL Elite Finals.
And if you guys want any updates, do stay tuned to the social media channels of FSL. And you're able to find all the news and all the posts right there if we make any announcements. Of course, we are sort of waiting for the status of the coronavirus's infection rate and all the relative red tape to be announced. So we'll have to plan around that, of course.
And with that, guys, we are on the Rift for game number 1 of our grand finals, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia qualifiers for the seasons of the FSL. It's going to be Asterix over on the blue side, facing off against Team Callisto, who had to fight their way all the way up from the lower bracket. We're going to see if all those long games have taken a toll on them, or if those were just a warm-up and they're more fired up than ever before. I'm hyped.
This is just looking at the draft, them showing up to play, because Remember I like kind of ate my words a little. I said, oh well, no one FSL plays Lucian apart from ADC. And
No
they're
one-
like, "Ooh, Lucian flex top. We're gonna use that to counterpick to Mordekaiser." Like that works, right? That's fine. So if you can do that and you can show up, you would have convinced me on a very personal level that you guys are here to play.
Yeah, I mean, we want to see 3 games. We want to see that 2-1. We want to see a close series. I'm excited. Oh,
Delay Invade coming in, possibly.
3v3.
Remember that Olaf is super strong at level 1 as long as you can land the Axis. A great hook in onto the Thresh. They're looking to focus down the core and they will be able to take
Easy first blood.
that steal away. A great dredge line into chain damage, but the smite though might come through from Korn here. Eventually will be finished off. The hook back in though. Korn is now in a world of pain as Lustrous finds the second, and coming out guns blazing is gonna be Asterix as they pick up 2 quick kills. The blue buff as well as the wolf camp here.
Whew. Lustreless, girl, I am so sorry. I doubted you when we were talking earlier.
Just don't int. So easy.
Just don't int. How to win the game? Just don't int.
So easy.
Don't int. I was like, it is really hard for you to not int, but like, don't int. So easy. And we were wondering. Well, I was wondering earlier, right, whether whether Asterix, because they won other games yesterday, so they were already locked in for the grand finals. We were wondering, since this is their first game of the day, whether they would need some time to really warm up, get into the groove of things. Nope. Absolutely zero downtime. Just 30 seconds into the first game. Boom. First blood. Picking up another second kill as well. Kind of must take a toll, I think, the mental for Team Callisto. I mean, this is pretty much the same thing. More in the same vein of things that Team Asterix were doing yesterday with the level 1 invade.
I was talking a bit about the top lane earlier, and Boozy Life actually building up a pretty nice CS wave here, but because that wave is going to be pushing in, Lustreless has no choice but to back off. Mayo has to stay under her turret to collect that, and now the response is smart. Boozy as well as Korn are on the same page. They're like, okay, I'm going to stack this big wave, I'm going to buy space for you to walk in, because now they have to stay and soak this EXP, and now we equalize a bit of the deficit earlier on. Although the kills can't be helped, we managed to pick up the buffs and keep ourselves relevant in the game.
Yep, Callisto doing the best that they can after that disaster of a level 1 start.
Looking for the stun on Candleburn though, no range available. Foxy was a bit far away there, couldn't really pick up the rockets or the harpoons to get the slow.
Yep, Korn gonna pick up the scuttle over here in bot. Meanwhile, Lustreless once again.
Yeah, they can't give this to her.
Yep,
They
they're gonna 4-man this actually.
The reason I say that is because Korn already took the top scuttle. If Lustreless gives this over, she'll be very far behind in terms of EXP. In fact, Korn will probably hit level 4 slightly before her. And meanwhile, on the top side, Boozy Life actually getting caught out here. Might be forced to burn the flash as Mayo finds the kill of the Obliterate. And this is what I'm talking about, right? You can pick the pick, but can you play it in the proper matchup? Because, oh, hold on. Bot lane Vicky finds Aya there as they're looking to trade across. A great flash play will pull Claria back, and that's a double already for Vicky with the Conqueror Ezreal getting early leads in the bot lane. 2v2 isolated. Both teams trading blows on different sides of the map. Mayo finding her own, and meanwhile Vicky and the core popping off in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be a 3-for-3 Summoner spell swap over in the bot side. However, because Vicky does retain the heal onto the Ezreal, that's going to be absolutely crucial. Aya was forced to use both heal as well as flash, which means she's not going to have that available. And Claria, the spell she managed to keep onto was the Ignite, which isn't going to help you for the next little skirmish in the bot side. But with that being said, Callisto's actually managed to close the gold difference. Right now only about 100 gold. Lustreless right here though, waiting
If she
in the
sticks
wings.
the axe, they will be able to follow through on the kill, but the flash from Foxy gets her away from the slow, and Undertow unable to connect. But you can see the burst coming through from Kendo there. The Conqueror, in addition to how she layers the spells, makes it such that it comes out very quickly, very efficiently, and Foxy cannot trade back.
Mayo in the top lane right here, losing a bit of CS to Boozy Life. Did start off with the Ninja Tabis, really. So just as we were saying during picks and bans, really the objective of the Mordekaiser this game is you want to survive the lane, farm up as best as you can, and just be that force in the team fight.
Mayo's level 6 here. If she walks up and still is a hit in terms of EXP. She can go for the all-in against Boozy, which is why she's being so defensive and playing behind the river in this top side. Meanwhile, bot lane, though, Corrin has arrived. They can look to force this gank if they connect the hook or the flay. They could also alternatively lantern the Pantheon in. They will see the rotation into the alcove from the core, and this should mean that the gank is going to be thwarted.
Corrin looking to sneakily start off this Cloud Dragon right here. Asterix, as Observer is kindly
Quite
showing
greedy.
us, doesn't have a vision right here, just right in between two control wards. Yep, Corrin's gonna back off.
Yep, but they
D-
will pull the core in, though. You can see the fight breaking out. The Thresh very low, throws out the hook, but will not connect. Meanwhile, the Ignite is taking down on the Thresh. Now Vicky, very careful, has to back off because Corrin is here to flash stun, but Lustreless is here to cover, and they should be able to pick up the jungler as well. Lustreless managing to get the kill, and meanwhile in the mid lane, Candle with the solo kill. Asterix not happy, taking the disadvantages lying down. They make the plays happen, and they find the kills.
Yeah, Counterburn with the solo kill onto Foxy, who I believe had just hit that level 6, dropped the equalizer, just was not enough. Counterburn already level 7, and with those kills across the board, it means Asterix is going to very handily pick up this Cloud Drake.
You can see that Candleburn used the hijack as well, so
Yep.
she managed to get Foxy's equalizer, and it's like a taste of your own medicine. Like, how do you feel getting roasted alive on your own equalizer?
That's actually the worst feeling in the world. You kind of get the feeling that Counterburn was waiting for Foxy to hit 6 so she could hijack the equalizer. She's like, all right, now I win the 1v1. 200 IQ.
Yeah, you
Like, all
wait for your level 6 so I can beat
yeah,
you.
yeah. Like, wait, well, hurry up and get 6. You're getting 6 off this wave, right?
On a strategic note, though, there's a lot more value for the Sylas because you can actually hold the Rumble in place with your CC more than the Rumble actually can. Rumble has slows. You have an actual CC spell in your E, which makes it such that the equalizer is more dangerous in your hands.
200 IQ plays, man.
It's funny because I think Asterix did leave the Rumble open on purpose, and they're actually drafting. They did draft around it pretty well this game.
Yeah, they left it up second rotation for Callisto to pick up. First rotation. They picked it second.
Like, they were not afraid. They basically banned out 380s, went for the early Mordekaiser and left Rumble open. They could have gotten Rumble for themselves, but it looks like they have a plan to deal with it.
Let's look like she's pathing towards mid to change her mind. Gonna instead go for Shelly. Callisto have absolutely no vision over here. So Lustreless gonna be able to pick this one up. A bit slow. Should get there. In the end, most of Callisto's ward coverage is actually concentrated around the bottom side. As you can see where Claria is actually pathing across. Right now they've got about 5 wards over the outside jungle.
She's gonna get that real quick as well because she did go for the warrior upgrade as opposed to Cinderhulk, which is what most Olaf players go for. So additional damage, additional cooldown reduction means that she gets that with no big problem whatsoever.
Yep,
Right
and
now-
now
Walking in to get vision.
level 6 trying to catch out Corrin right here. Mayo as well with the backup. Looking
Ooh.
for the collapse. Lands the axe.
Yeah, this should be a guaranteed kill here. The kill actually being donated over to Mayo, who did pop the flash, and now they're using the Rift Herald to get the collapse down. Kano is going to steal the culling away as Woozy Life is going to dash under the range of the structure. Shelly is going to get a charge off, and Woozy Life escapes with her health bar still intact. At the end of it, though, the gold is going to go the way over to Asterix as they find a small bonus with the charge on Shelly.
Yeah, you saw that nice roam coming out from Counterburn. She's actually, because she's picked up a fair amount of the gold. She's going for the Hex Tech, which is really front-loading her damage right now. Busy Life, no!
Yep, she's absolutely dead here. There's no way she's getting out. Lustrous manages to catch her with the edge of the undertow, just the side clipped her. And with that, they get the kill. Woozy Life a bit greedy to make a reappearance in the top side, knowing that Lustrous could have been nearby. This bot lane taking their licks pretty well. They are behind, but they know that their value is actually in the utility that they bring. Aya and Clara, all they have to do is press R and contribute damage from the backline. Candleburn, Lustrous, and Mayo now have the majority of the gold. They will be looking to play it out in the fights as the core DPS. And look at the goal right there from taking first turret. It's insane. for Mayo.
Yeah, and Callisto right now looking to strong arm bot. They know that this is where their advantage is and they're looking to press this further. Have the assistance of Karma to pick up one more
They won't get
plate.
this.
Yeah, they're just gonna get that plate and go off because they don't have the mini wave. Also counterburn with the roam down. Teleport coming into the dragon side.
Great dredge line with the hook and the depth charge on the core. Here comes the culling that was hijacked away, is being blocked out by Korn as Mayo, like you mentioned, teleports down into the bot lane. Mayo is going to get Prio in the bot side, so there is 4 members here. Lustral is still on the top side, pushing in here for Asterix. They're looking for the Mountain Dragon, which is going to be coming up in a couple of minutes. So they've more or less played their hand out in the bot lane to deflect the aggression coming in.
Yeah, just really good rotations always from the side of Counterburn as well as Lustra's Counterburn. She's just constantly been pushing in the wave and then roaming either top, roaming towards mid.
Yeah.
It's been very good on her part, especially versus the Rumble.
As long as you can, and like I said, you know, keep relevant against the threats that the Rumble brings. So the Silas is perfect for that. Rumble traditionally very good at pushing with the Flame Spitter, but because you are melee versus melee against the Rumble, you represent more of a threat. Rumble can just freely walk up, Q the wave and back off. So Candleburn always has Prio, and she got the solo kill earlier as well, so this is a very good lane for her. They're going to swap it up though and send Aya and Clara to the mid lane, while Woozy Life is going to back off. This is actually bad. If Woozy Life is not careful, she's going to get solo killed here. You just have to be very careful with the spacing against the Silas.
Asterix formatting over in the bottom side, looking to pick up the dragon right here. Vicky, know that? Oh no!
Oh, a great hook onto the Ezreal Equalizer on the front line to dissuade the aggression, but the core is going to go into a stopwatch. Here comes the Grand Starfall on the back line, already very low as Lustrous backing off, and now Korn will go down to Mayo, who uses the Pearl Belt to jump right in, and in the middle of the fight, Mayo is just ripping everyone apart with the Darkness Rises. Pulling 2 members back in. The hijack True Shot Barrage will get the triple over. They're looking for the Quadra, but Clara is going to get it, and Mayo, Candleburn is going to pick up the ace and pulling the trigger there decisively. They find a massive lead.
Yeah, Asterix really putting on a show in the first 13 minutes of this best of 3, showing absolutely why they are the top female team in Singapore right here. The fight kind of started off with Callisto not really...
They walked into the hook.
They walked into the hook. They walked into the river when they didn't have vision, which is really not something that you want to do when you know that Dragon is up and you know that Asterix are very likely wanting to be to pick up the Dragon and more likely to be there. But the good thing is Asterix don't manage to get the mid-side tier 1. They only pick up Dragon.
Managing to get all the plates on the mid-tier 1 before 14 minutes. Still pretty good. And in terms of value, double Proto Belt being picked up by the lineup here. Proto Belt is probably one of the cheapest ways to accelerate your lead, because not only does it represent cooldown reduction damage, the active itself is also really good for you to clear waves and get back into fights. There you go, clear wave. It's one of the safer ways to clear waves if you are a melee champion, like Mayo and Candleburn. Asterix's lane assignments are so good. They recognize, okay, we just gotta keep playing the 1-3-1, send Aya and Clara to the mid lane, and push out for mid prio so we can get to Rift Herald much quicker. Mayo playing on the bottom side, matching Foxy, and the logic here is she doesn't have TP, but it's fine because if Foxy TPs, she can just press R into and Death Realm her, and that cancels any of Foxy's impact. And then in the Death Realm, the 1v1, guess who wins? It's not Foxy. Hello? Hello?
What?
Jolene?
Bo, what's going on?
Hello? I bet you she wanted to put down the control ward or sweeper or something, right? And then she pressed the stopwatch instead.
God, she's probably hoping that none of us saw that, but literally all of us saw that. I'm gonna
It's
clip.
a thumbs up to our OB for catching that. That was pretty sick.
I'm gonna clip that and DM it to her. Yeah, with like a question mark.
We'll give her benefit of the doubt because eventually she does get the second Rift Herald and timing is pretty on point.
Yeah, who needs stopwatch? Come on, who
What
needs
happens here is you can use it to either force mid or top. You don't really have to interact with bot too much because Mayo is actually getting the solo kill. Within like 2 seconds of her popping the death room, I knew she was going to get the kill already.
The Q, she just Qs your face. And all that much you can do. And Shelly gonna be popped. 16-minute mark to finally
Nice.
pick up the mid-side tier 1. It's gonna be second tower
They can
for
force it
Asterix
here.
4v3.
The hook landing and so will the enchanted crystal arrow. This frontline damage is absolutely insane.
Lucian
They're
in
still
the
looking
back.
for the first kill though. The core and Corrin very low as the flash comes through from Aya as well as Kando. Kando going inside the base now. No care in the world. She's looking for the core and eventually she should be able to get out once the E comes off cooldown once more. There you go. A double already picked up for Kando. Lustreless did go down, but she would have survived if she had stopwatch. I'm just saying.
I love watching Candleburn play. I think the only downside to Asterix
Die.
winning the locking their place in the grand final so soon is that I don't get to see Candleburn play more often because what a show she's putting on this time. Uh-oh. It's been a bit too long. Yeah, that's what happens. You get 2 or 3 kills and you're like, I'm invincible, guys.
I thought she was going to die there in the bot lane, but didn't really happen because the rest of the team was around to respond. And because it is only 17 minutes, cooldown timers are very low. Mayo sitting inside this brush, did clear out the Ghost Ward, I believe. Now we'll back off and give the bot tier 1 over. So finally, Kalista will be able to get their first structure of the game. They will raise down this bot tier 1.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world for Asterix. They've got all the outer turrets already. Picked up the 3 towers. However, Vicky, yeah, they're not going to be able to get this. Going to take the lantern out. Although, and she also has Ezreal is always the E. So she was in absolutely no danger there. It's been very hard for Callisto to try and pick up the outer towers. They're really only able to get that bottom side tier 1 due to kind of Asterix's mistake in staying too long. Otherwise it's been a bit difficult for them.
I love how Shinsukai was in the chat. He was like, Pogger's top lane Lucian. Mate, I've seen your top lane Lucian when you stream. It's pretty comparable, man. I'm just going to put that out there. Dragon is going to be coming up soon. The setup is there. Even though Boozy Life is pushing the top side, TP is going to be up so she can join in. And too little too late because that is going to be Dragon's sole point right now. All the members of Asterix staring down the next dragon for the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, it's 3 dragons in favor of Asterix already. Tower score 3-2. Gold lead about 5,000 in favor of Team Asterix at the 19-minute mark. Pretty much from start to finish, I think Asterix has had a pretty commanding lead.
Also, to talk on why there is a Nashor's Tooth on Mayo right now, it's a pretty common build to go for Mordekaiser where you go for Conqueror, right? Since you are in that tree, she gets a solo kill. Since you're in that tree, you will go for
8-0-2.
the Legend attack speed as well. So by the time you get, 2 or 3 kills, you have enough attack speed to still push on your own. And in Death Realm, of course, the autos do a lot more because they are locked in with you. In this case, Mayo is just going to take over the game right now as though she hasn't been.
Yep, legendary, 8-0-2, 700 gold bounty on it. We're saying we didn't, I feel that I didn't give credit where credit was due. We were talking in Picks and Bans about how, Mordekaiser, even if you fall behind in game 0 and 3, you're still a force, you're still useful in a team fight. She's 8-0-2.
This is the part where, like,
game.
you ask the team, who's gonna go match Mordekaiser? Everyone's just like very quiet, like, oh, look, some minions. I'm just gonna farm that and ignore the question. As they are gonna get spotted out here. Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto the Pantheon, and that is an extremely dead jungler in the form of Corrin. The teleport coming from Mayo was slightly unnecessary, but because all 5 of them are grouped up and they got the jungler, very good fundamentals means that they will be able to get the Baron here as a hijack is used to steal the Equalizer. Candleburn now will be able to find Foxy, and that ultimate is extremely lit, but not enough to catch Foxy out. Candleburn will be able to force the mid laner away.
Oof, really early Baron for Team Asterix. Just barely 20 seconds after the Baron spawn. Decor and Vicky look like they want to try and steal this. Vicky has the ward over in the back of the pit, but oh, getting cooked up by Claria.
Yeah, good zoning tools coming in though. Whether they can steal this remains to be seen as the smite comes through from Lustreless to guarantee that it's taken away. Mayo now getting caught and Aya very low as well. Maybe they shouldn't really have hand shook this fight here. Asterix overextending just a little bit. Falling in the fight is already Mayo as well as Kando, and you have to think that Clara is not long for this world as well. Getting a bit too greedy, staying after the fight, but the good news is Lustreless and Aya have the Baron buff available.
Yep, they managed to stay alive in that fight. Asterix kind of cutting their losses. They knew at that point that they stayed a bit too long. They didn't really need to go for the fight. You get the Baron and then you leave and then you do the split push that you've been playing all along with the Mordekaiser to try and maximize Baron buff on 3 lanes. That didn't happen, and so they cut their losses and now they're just going to have 2 of the buffs, but very good positioning from Vicky in particular. Just was able to output so much constant DPS, right? Really knowing the limits of her champion right before she could possibly have died. She had exited team fight and still kited around and landed those Qs.
This comp is kind of irritating to do Baron against because while you're in the pit, both Foxy and Vicky will be, doing DPS across the wall via Equalizer and Mystic Shots respectively. And there is no clean way for you to deny Corrin's entry. Oh, hold on. Speaking of denied, Foxy is going to get pulled back in and killed. Just as we were praising their ability to stay even in this game, Foxy walks up and gets hooked in the back.
Yeah, Foxy, today just hasn't been Foxy's day.
It's been rough on her. This game.
Yeah.
At least in the previous game, she was getting caught here and there as well. So as much as we want to go easy and, kind of give her benefit of the doubt, you have to start raising some questions whether as to, this is fully necessary for you to step up like that.
Yeah, I mean, we are in a best of 3 series, so there is a bit of wiggle room for, teams to drop a game and then come back in the rest of the series.
Gonna pick up bot tier.
Yeah, she's just waiting for
this
the
push.
Yeah, she's
once the
waiting
wave
for
comes
this
in.
wave.
And I don't know if Boozy Life can even defend against her. Like, it seems as though the Lucian will be the sacrificial lamb to deal with the side laning Mordekaiser. Still, have to respect the range on that Death Realm. You can see that every time that Mayo throws the E out, Boozy has to kind of kite away with the Relentless Pursuit. But because no one has a QSS, that out means that you are most likely going to die if you're locked inside with Mayo. Ah, the classic dramatic ambush.
I love the setup for this too. They already have the control ward.
Don't knock it until you try it because, like you said, they have the control ward and they know the dragon is coming up. And this is Soul, so Callisto has to contest.
There's
right?
the
It's gonna work. Trust me, it's gonna work.
Oh,
If they stay long enough, it's gonna work.
Look at those pigs.
Ah, there you go. I told you it was gonna work. Enchanted Crystal Arrow into the dredge line and Corrin dies again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice with the exact same pick, shame on me.
I just love how you can clearly see that Asterix is a team that's been playing together for the past 3 years. Literally the exact same roster. These 5 girls, they know how each other plays. Clary was just like, you know what, forget it. I'm gonna make this happen for myself. Walks up while Aya with the crystal arrow into the backline, into the hook. Such good timing.
Mayo getting chunked out quite a bit. Actually, Vicky doing decent damage already now that the mana mune is completed, and it has been completed for quite a while, I believe. In addition with the Trinity Force and Conqueror, the scaling is there. It's kind of scary. They have some time now in terms of space that they bought themselves, so they will be able to at least push up mid and get some prio. Remember that the Baron buff has already expired, originally only on Lustreless and Aya, now on no one whatsoever.
Bunch of pings going down for Pantheon. Looks like he wants to keep the blue buff for himself. Over that ward, however, very nicely placed from Asterix earlier on. They are going to spy that the blue buff actually...
Is that the fear of God? Corrin is just so afraid that they are in the vicinity, they're just like, peace out, I don't want to stay around. Or they're just waiting to give it over to Vicky. Okay, that makes more sense. More reasonable than scared you would die.
The thing is, so I actually saw the on my way ping towards blue buff, and then Corrin went there.
Right.
Yeah, and then halfway through was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna tilt my AD carry. You can have it.
And that's the thing though, we were talking about the value of Vicky in Champions Select, about how she is the AD carry that kind of pops off when you need her to. I would highly encourage that Callisto give her all their resources if they want it to like stick, you know.
I would highly encourage.
Just a friendly recommendation.
Yeah. Just some advice.
There's a bit of a visual bump in the game, so the Mystic shots aren't really connecting. If you can see whenever she throws the Q out, and I feel like it's only with the Pulse Fire Ezreal skin that has this issue, so I'm not too sure if it is a big thing. But we'll try our best to cast it.
Yeah, it was a bit
goes
difficult to
along.
see, especially in some of like the previous team fights. But then you imagine, I mean, you know the damage is
chunk,
being
right, yeah.
done. Yeah.
You hear the sound as well. It's like, pew. It's kind of like obvious when you hear the laser sound go off.
I have boomer ears. I can't hear anything
Oh,
through
yeah,
my
true.
headset. Oh.
Ah, they threw the lantern down this time, didn't know.
Oh, that
the hook.
cracks me up.
Hooking onto the Lustreless, even though they managed to avoid the ambush, they still walked in and hence shook that fight, and now they're gonna pay for it with their life. Lustreless chasing down to Corn. Aya is gonna get the kill credit there. Now flashing away is gonna be Vicky, and she's fighting under turret, but she's very low. She already does pick up Aya though as the equalizer is being used. Meanwhile, under turret is Mayo walking in very low, will be taken out as well. So actually this is a 2 for 2, and I think that Callisto can re-engage here because Vicky has double buffs and she can chase in. We just need to close the distance, but with the Blast Cone, I think that Asterix should be able to get out safe. And you can see that unless you kill off Vicky, there's actually a high possibility that you can stand and deliver the damage back.
Yeah, and in the end, Callisto get the 2 for 2. Given how far behind the game, you kind of want to feel that that's definitely an advantage going over to them,
Yeah.
forcing Asterix to actually be on the back foot. It gives them a bit of breathing room, as you can see. Lucy Life managed to push out the top lane, Foxy as well in the mid side, being able to finally, for the first time in this game, take a breather.
The key to equalizing the difference in this game, though, does lie within taking mid-tier 1. I think that Callisto needs to open up the map before they can actually have a say in this game. Right now, it's purely reactive. They're just putting wards down and hoping that they don't get caught. They're checking, you know, making sure that Fog of War is in an ambush. To open up the game and make it more equal, they need to open up mid-tier 1 so they have more space to put down advanced vision. Simple strategy dictates that when you have more space to cover, your opponents can't really ward everything, and therefore, you know, you have a bit more freedom to play with.
I am just going to use the Hawk Shot, scout across the bottom side of the mini-map. There are a bunch of pings from the red side over towards Baron. Oh, True Shot Barrage being used to check to see if the Baron was being done or not.
This is smart though. They send Mayo hard to bot lane to hard commit to pushing tier 2. And because she has the teleport, she will be able to join in. Like we were talking about and joking about earlier, there is no one that really wants to match Mayo. And this is especially true if you are the AD carry here, and when I say AD carry, Vicky, right? You don't want to go bot lane. You're probably the only one that could do significant damage, but you don't want to go bot because you can't join in the Baron fight after. It has to be the Lucian. It has to be a Lucian who doesn't die in this instance.
Oh, Asterix going fishing
Foxy.
again.
I've seen this one before. Foxy walks up, uses the... Oh,
Oh.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow completely missing though as the depth charge brings her up, and this should be it for Foxy. Even though the Enchanted Crystal Arrow whiffed, there was enough CC, and like we said, Clara's job, Arya's job is just to press R and make sure kills follow through.
The zoning Crystal Arrow.
So she walks forward instead,
So she
right?
walks
Yeah.
left. Yeah.
Next level plays. After finding that pick, they're still a little hesitant on starting this one up. You have to think it's because there's an opportunity for a 50-50. Even though Lustreless is 2 levels up, I think Corn can still contest this if they have the vision in place, as Mayonnaise is going to be there to zone everyone away with the Zhonya's falling very low already. It's 3k right now as they're looking for the steal to happen. They're going in, possibly getting the steal here. It's a 50-50. I told you so! The steal would eventually come in, but right now Asterix are okay with giving that over because Mayo has bought so much time to finish off the kill. So even though 3 members go down, 2 members still have the Baron, and right now they can walk over to the Elder Dragon and possibly claim that for themselves. I say possibly, it's a guaranteed given right now.
Yeah, Boozy and Foxy forced to hit it back to base, but with that Baron buff and Asterix, I mean, there was a whole 10 seconds where Mayo was just 1v3ing 3 of the members of Team Callisto in the back. But bought a lot of time, but just barely not enough. The steal does go the way of Team Callisto.
And it goes without saying that you can only play like that if you're this far ahead, right? If you're not this far ahead, you don't go for the 50-50, you don't send your Mordekaiser to 1v4 and buy space. So even though they are holding an advantage, I think Asterix still showing a bit of sloppiness here and there.
Yeah, I think I want to say the biggest weakness that we actually have been seeing from Asterix over the last 2 or 3 years of casting them in the FSL is that especially when they do get those leads, we see them do a lot of very over-aggressive hubris plays. Candle burn, there was that one time on Akali, she dived the base, realized, oh, she couldn't get out. I remember, I think she had like 9 or 10 kills that game as well when she did that.
That's the sort of thing that you shouldn't be doing, even though you are ahead. Like, you need to have more discipline and understand that
exactly
methodical is good. Cannibur now gonna start the rip buff up. I feel like they could give this one over to Aya here, and it will be donated to the AD carry. Good guy, or good teammate Cannibur is gonna hand it over. Top tier 2 finally falls, and these are the outer turrets completely taken out as well.
Oh.
First line very close there. You could see Vicky was panicking a little. It managed to use the arcane shift to get out. Mayo now holding the mid lane, pushing in with the Elder Dragon buff by herself. This 1-4 is the expected lane assignment. We saw it happen a lot earlier. Mayo is always alone in the side wave, pushing and getting structures, creating pressure, whereas the rest of Asterix are posturing aggressively forward. And this is as aggressive as it gets, proxying the wave, throwing skill shots into the base and hoping the damage sticks, whereas Mayo is just literally waiting outside the base.
Yep.
Walking in now and possibly sieging up as the equalizer comes down. This is a zoning equalizer, as it were. Foxy uses the ultimate to clear the wave out, and now with that big ticket spell down, does it signal to us that Asterix can fight here?
Yeah, Callisto trying to go in on Mayo, but way too tanky at this point. Do have their minion wave finally because they've grouped up. They're just going to have the Baron and power buff. The thing with only keeping the Baron buff on the Rumble and the Lucian is that both of them are very squishy carries. It's almost impossible to actually split them up to maximize the use of the Baron buff because if you send either one of them into a side lane, they're just going to get jumped and die pretty quickly.
Problem is 33 minutes in, the Baron has expired right now. There's no leverage whatsoever for them to play with. Foxy is going to get solo killed once more inside the Death Realm, and Mayo Nazi is massive inside the base. They open up the top side of the map though, as Mayo is looking for a 1v2 situation. Woozy life now very low as we alternate the back and forth. This one is going to definitely go the way of Asterix just by virtue of manpower. You know that 4 beats 3, and if the inhibitor going down and a solo kill again for Mayo Nazi in the mid lane, this should be the game here. 2 members left to defend. It's going to be Woozy and Vicky holding their own inside the base. Mayo now pushing in the mid lane.
Playing this in by the book, making sure they get the mid-side tower as well as the inhibitor. Death timer is actually about 15 to 20 seconds. They can end the game right here.
Looking to push in. Kando is extremely aggressive, but she does have the stopwatch with her, so Mayo is just going to walk forward and chase her down, padding the KDA stat by stat. Now Vicky very low, gets tucked by the Undertow, but eventually game 1 will go the way of Asterix without any doubt, although there was a small touch and go moment at the Baron, but overall I still give it to them pretty clean.
Whew. Yeah, not the cleanest game that we've seen from Asterix, but definitely one of the most dominating performances that we've seen in this weekend of the FSL. Game 1 of our series. Gonna go over to Team Asterix.
I think there's definitely gonna be some conversations about how they manage their risk, and when I say that, it just refers to how far in the lane they tend to push sometimes. I think Foxy was the prime culprit. She was getting caught out by dredge lines and picked tools way too often in the late game, and that really threw a lot of the power in their composition, because remember, Rumble is supposed to be the mainstay of this, right? You build your comp around getting the equalizers and fighting around the equalizers. Without that, you know, Rumble is essentially just a small AoE bot, like a weaker version of Aphelios, right? Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we had our doubts in Picks and Bans about the Callisto team composition. I was saying that was a bit hard to execute. The thing is, I think after that disaster of a level 1, where Callisto gave the first blood, and then Asterix managed to actually pick up a double kill right there, I think it's a bit difficult to come back from that. I mean, in an ideal world, I would want to see whether Callisto can pull his composition off without that level 1 happening.
If that was a scrim, everyone on the Callisto side just
remake.
leaves and then you
They
remake.
would just
Yeah.
remake, exactly.
But with that, guys, we will be going for a short break. When we come back, we'll see if Callisto can tie the series up, or if Asterix is just going to sweep this 2-0 in a clean fashion. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, and welcome back to game number 2 of our grand finals of the Singapore Malaysia Indonesia Female Esports League qualifiers best of 3 series. I've gotten so much practice doing that introduction
sleep,
in
man.
the last But yeah, guys, we're into game 2 of the grand final best of 3 Asterix
Right.
versus Callisto.
Yeah.
Swap sides this time, so Callisto is on the blue side, Asterix on the red.
They are still going to triple ban ADCs.
Yep.
So it just shows me how much respect they have for Vicky, and rightly so. Even with a low econ Ezreal in the previous game, she was dealing pretty significant damage.
Yeah, pretty significant damage. She was also actually up about 40 to 60 CS off of Aya, despite the fact that the rest of her team that they were behind by more than 10,000 gold.
They basically found their own solo leads in bot lane, whereas top side and mid lane not so good, unfortunately.
Yep, as you're saying that.
Gragas.
Yes! Lustreless Gragas. I mean, she had a pretty good showing last game. I mean, we can't follow her except for that stopwatch press. We DM'd her during the break. She said that she switched her 1 and 2 keys. I mean, clearly she's not just like randomly pressing her stopwatch. Come on, give Poe some credit. But she switched. Hey, I am not Poe. Poe is not me.
I can explain the Gragas pick here. I think if I remember correctly, the mechanics of this is the model or the hitbox for the body slam is actually bigger than the Arctic Assault from Sejuani. So if you both like charge at the same time, the Gragas actually connects first and knocks the Sejuani out of the air. Yeah. Meanwhile, Nautilus and Jin. Hello, Jin.
Wow.
Okay. Cool.
We going old
Just
school.
do Rakan here. I think if you do Rakan, you're fine for like this general pick ban half. If you are Asterix, there's nothing much that you really have to prior now apart from Rumble if you want. I think they're debating, do we want Rumble or do we want Rakan? 5 seconds to go. We should see a Leona come out instead. Okay, so
wow.
I always... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Leona, I mean, it's going to have very good synergy with the Gragas as well. You get a fairly strong lane with the Xayah Leona. It's a bit of a deny versus the Nautilus that you're going to see in the 2v2.
That the value of the Rakan with Xayah is much higher because of your level 1 prior that you instantly have W. For those of you that don't know, when Xayah and Rakan are played together and Xayah pops W, she gets the attack speed and so does Rakan. So you're like pretty much guaranteed to get level 1 advantage. You don't even have to wait for level 2 to trade. And in that instance, you know, you do have the power to shove Jin Nautilus back and control the lane a bit more. I feel like they do need bot lane control because as we observed the previous game, bot lane is not necessarily the strong point for this team. Right?
Yeah, bot lane win utility. I think the thing is for the last game when they had Aya playing Ashe, there was the possibility that they would try and carry through the Ashe. However, the fact that Mayo got so far ahead on Mord in the top side was really what made them have this decision where they're going to play through mid and top.
With the Aatrox now, this should be a Mayo Aatrox in the top side. It's going to be the same thing. You can definitely play through top lane Aatrox. The counter here, no, I wouldn't say counter, but like probably one of the best ways to play into this matchup is probably to pick the Camille, so we might probably see Camille come out for Boozy Life in the top lane. Foxy is debating between Syndra and Orianna. I'm going to tell you straight up, both of those are the wrong choices, especially when there's a Gragas on the opposite side. Pair that with an Assassin for Candleburn and you basically don't get to play League of Legends in the mid lane. Camille, do it. Like Chancellor Palpatine from Star Wars, do it.
Camille would be great, especially with the Nautilus. I think you're mentioning.
Plus you have
Also
Camille
with the Sejuani.
Yeah, Renekton's fine as well. It does the same thing. Essentially, you have the ability to be slightly more mobile.
Yeah, I like this composition a lot better than what they drafted earlier in that game number 1. I think they
Yeah.
were thinking like, game 1, the ease of execution, not quite there. This, however, is very textbook the way that you want to play it. Nautilus, Sidroni, your Renekton, very strong team fight.
Just do like LeBlanc. Silas booked as well.
Yeah,
Anything that
probably.
can close the gap and CC the mid laner means that Foxy doesn't get to play League of Legends in the mid lane. I'm telling you, we're gonna see a level 2 gank from Lustrous this game.
In before her level 1.
I'm telling you, it's just gonna happen,
level 1.
I feel like it's gonna be this way, right?
She's gonna
take
one up you.
red buff, take red buff, walk to mid, so you probably have body slam and your Q at level 2. Flash
E
body
and Q.
flash
Yeah,
E.
yeah. EQ.
Either burn Foxy's flash or kill her straight up, and then do like another clear and then back off, get Predator. Once the Predator is up, she's gonna do that again.
And the thing is, Foxy has had such a rough time the last couple of days.
Right.
I mean, the last couple of games.
Mhm.
And if you're gonna tilt someone,
Probably the best way to do it.
yeah, that's the best way to do it. And plus, you tilt Foxy, and we've seen
This Orianna is gonna be the mainstay or the main piece of this composition though, because they really do have to fight around the Shockwave. You put her behind strategically, take off the nameplates, it doesn't matter, right? If you can keep the Orianna down, it actually brings a lot more benefits to your team, because now there's no zoning Shockwave that you have to be afraid of, like do we walk into the ball? Imagine a 0-7 Orianna, just hypothetically, right? Of course you won't get to that point, but like 0-7 Orianna, there's a ball there, do we walk in? Yeah, of course we do, and just walk in and we kill them, right? But a 7-0 Orianna, you're like, nah man, I'm out. I'm not even getting anywhere near this zoning Shockwave. So that's the example essentially. You're overreading into this. I'm not gonna prove anything. I'm just giving you a hypothetical to prove my point.
Imagine a 0-7 Oriana.
I'm giving you a hypothetical to prove my point about why it's important to pin down the crux of the composition early on and make the call to your team like, okay, Orianna is strong, she's important for the team, we kill her a lot. That's all.
Yeah, guys, we are into what potentially is match point for Team Asterix
It
right here.
is.
It is match point. They're one up
Potentially.
in the best of the Wait a minute, I can't words anymore. I'm hungry. I haven't had lunch.
If you guys listen very carefully when the mic is quiet, you can hear Jenny's stomach rumbling, and it is as awful as it sounds.
I heard yours once, so mine's been like 5 or 6 times. Like even Bay could hear it because at one point it was so loud that
Oh, yeah.
both of you turned, and I was like,
What is going on? It's
Please
like
tell
a
me
chest burster waiting
Please
inside.
tell me the mic didn't pick it up. I was worried. I was worried for a sec. But yes, we are into match point in this last best of 3 grand finals. If Asterix take this game, it will be a clean 2-0. They will be
Yeah.
the Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia representatives for the season of FSL.
Not-
Callisto, of course, are going to want to win this game, then win the next game to become the Singapore representatives.
Not super unlikely that they do take this game looking at the draft. Remember at the end of game 1, I was like, okay, it's pretty even, but I give the edge over to Asterix. This time I actually give a bit of the edge over onto the Callisto side, just by nature of draft, because like we say, easier to execute, and in terms of being able to team fight and wombo combo, they do have it in the bag, right? But when it comes to execution and like keeping and pinning people down, I feel like Asterix know how to attack the lanes, so they should be able to deal with the draft just fine.
Yeah, I agree. 5v5, I mean, if you're, as you're saying,
Take
you
off the
take off the
nameplates.
nameplates. Blue side composition definitely looks a lot stronger in the 5v5. However, because we know that red side is Asterix, and you just
Right.
look at the individual champions being played by who? I mean, Mayo, she's great on
Aatrox
Aatrox.
is like, yeah,
Her
her last one,
Aatrox,
yeah.
yeah, she's so good on Aatrox. And Candlebone, we just saw her playing Silas last game. Absolutely
Pretty good
insane.
on mechanics.
AP Assassin, oh, pretty good. Doesn't even start to cut it for Candlebird's mechanics. Come on. And I, of course, playing on the Xayah. Kind of going to be very stable, sort of bot side. So even though it doesn't look as strong in terms of the 5v5, I think that individually they're going to do well.
Xayah is good against Nautilus as well as Renekton because the depth charge is very telegraphed.
Yep.
Like there's a moment where it basically tracks you, right? So once
Uh-huh.
it tracks you, and you can time the part where you pop up in the air with the Featherstorm to negate the CC.
Exactly. Yeah. The only drawback of the Xayah R, besides the fact that it's your ultimate, so it's a longish cooldown, is the fact that it has that delay. But versus
Yeah.
the Nautilus, you do have time to press the R and then E
Yep.
to root and
Yep.
then make it out.
And same thing against the Sejuani and Renekton as well. These are sort of telegraphed-ish entry points. Sejuani, if your animation cancel properly, it's kind of hard to react to, but you can still do it. Renekton is more or less you want the ability to self-peel away from the diving Renekton, and with what better way to do that than with the Blade Caller, right?
Yep, exactly. And with that, guys, we are now on to the Rift for what could be our last game.
This is definitely what could be. Honestly.
I got the qualifier right this time of the Female Esports League Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia final qualifiers, grand final, best of 3 series between Callisto over on the blue side and Team Asterix on the red side. Just charging down mid, 5v5, standard start.
Now this is kind of tricky because normally if you want to cheese the level 2, in terms of how you want to path in, you want to go in from the river that's away from the turret. It's a little tricky to, when the gank happens I'll try to explain it, but essentially the way to level 2 cheese is that you kind of have to start blue buff on the red side, but you don't get the slow. So there are some pros and cons there.
Minions have spawned.
Jolene only finally making her way into the jungle. 1 minute 15. Some question mark pings over in their top side jungle, over where Mayo is. They didn't really spot out any of the Callisto team, although they do have the... Gonna spot out Busy Life right now.
No super leash this time. Lustrous is gonna start on the Raptors by herself. Interesting that they take that path. In fact, not even wanting any help from either of the laners.
Yeah, going straight for the Raptors first.
Self-sufficient jungler who don't need no leash.
Independent Poe.
Getting pushed in early on because of the range advantage though. Foxy, like this is the kind of play that gets you level 2 cheesed, right? You push in super early and just don't respect the jungler, and you extend past the river knowing that, or rather not knowing where the jungler started at all.
Yeah, that's the tilt from the previous games, I think.
Because had the Aatrox or bot lane leash, the information would be like communicated, right? Oh, it came late to lane, therefore, you know, you don't know where it started. But because you're pretty much just shooting in the dark right now, super greedy for you to walk up, and of course you're gonna get punished right now as Candleburn will force the barrier out of Foxy.
Wow, straight up losing the 1v1 at the
Very
2.5
dangerous.
minute mark. That's really got her. And Candleburn has the extra sustain as well because she does have those biscuits, whereas Foxy right now no defensive summoner spell besides the flash left up.
I'll share a tip. Biscuit and Time Warp Tonic and mid lane is actually broken because you can make so many mistakes without getting killed from the sustain that you get. Is like, even if you're bad in that matchup, you're still okay just sustaining up. Using the abscond to auto attack reset.
Did you just say even if you're bad in that matchup? How dare you?
Like if you don't know the matchup, it's still okay. It's fine, you know. Because you got all the biscuits and like the extra heals. It's really hard for them to solo kill you. If going in for the play, looking for the stun as well. Is gonna connect. Lustrous coming in with the flash, and there you go. It wasn't level 2, but just one after that makes the kill happen onto Foxy, who still had flash but was not in a position to do so. I feel Foxy starting to move 45 degrees. In essence, the tilt is starting to begin.
Man, that flash E from Lustreless was a thing of beauty. I feel like if Lustreless had left that lane long enough, Candleburn would have 1v1 at some point because she had chugged Foxy so much already.
If you are Corn right now, you should be playing this.
Oh, Candleburn went Dark Seal.
It's a pretty good build if you're gonna get poked out because you get extra healing from your potions. So in conjunction with Time Warp Tonic, you basically can soak the poke coming in and trade back across. All you have to do is just stay healthy enough to all in, right? And Zenith Blade is gonna barely miss Vicky. That is an extremely telegraphed aggression. So if you're Decor and Vicky, you temper yourself, you back off, you don't handshake this, and now they're gonna get caught out as Lustreless comes in. She's looking for the body slam, but they didn't communicate who the target was. So right there, Lustreless completely ignoring Vicky and getting punished right now as well. Blade Caller will be used to pull and root Vicky in place, but Ignite was burnt on Lustreless.
Yeah, they do bait out the Ignite from the side of Tikar, but right now Corn's over by the Tribush and will be here at the party just as Lustreless recalls. It's now a 3v2.
Yeah, 3v2, they jump onto Vicky. They actually try to single out Aya, but the stun not landing from Vicky, so there's no root whatsoever, and now they're overextending for the play. Will get rooted by the Blade Caller, and right there, I think Vicky and Decor as well. You know, there's a bit of miscommunication on both sides.
Yep, a lot of miscommunication. They actually burnt Corn as well as Decor's flash, which is pretty huge. I don't think Corn will have the flash available when she hits that level 6 mark, but right now mid lane, Counterburn going all in onto Foxy.
Remember what I said, when Predator's available for Lustreless, she's going to re-gank mid lane with that up. They're just waiting for Candleburn's cooldowns to come back off, and now they're looking for the play. They're going in on mid. Body Slam is available, so is the Predator. They will be able to land the damage. Auto attack Q, not enough. Unfortunate that they were not able to secure it, but it was because of the barrier that Foxy had and the flash as well that allowed her to survive. Without those summoner spells, it would have gone down, but good play from Foxy to maximize utility from those.
Yep, Boozy Life right now with the roam. Managed to push up top lane against Mayo. It's now over here in the mid lane trying to soak up a bit of experience. Still level 5. So no potential for the engage right here for bot side. Talk about engage.
Good route onto Aya. The fourth shot is available. If Vicky flashes and autos, they will be able to execute Aya, but just being a bit more patient and hesitant here.
They're so low, but I mean Vicky's still level 4, so there's no risk of her getting the snipe on you with your ultimate at this point. So Aya and Clara are just going to pick up those last few minutes. They're actually down about 15 CS, about 2 whole waves versus Vicky and Decor.
Actually, that 15 CS makes a big difference because that is the breaking point between a BF sword as well as a cancelled the recall coming in. But like I said, that 15 CS is the difference between a BS Sword and a Call Fuse Warhammer. And if you can come back with a BS Sword, you're gonna dominate this lane. If you come back with a Warhammer, you're just gonna be stuck under turret CSing.
Right now, Corn and Lustreless just playing a bit of dance behind the Cloud Dragon. Foxy's just gonna drop that ward over there. Lustreless still level 5.
Just barely is able to afford the BS Sword here. Yeah, 1-4. Okay. Because they did cancel the recall, so she stuck around to control and eat another wave of CS, which is why she can buy the BS Sword. But right now, Lustreless is getting found out here by Corn. Manages to clear the control ward though. So, splitting vision right now. In the bottom half, it belongs to Corn and Decor.
Yeah, blue side with some very good control behind the Dragon pit. Neither team really wanting to contest the Cloud Dragon right now. And you saw Decor because they knew that Aya had waited around for the wave. They had that extra couple 10 seconds or so to take the long path through their own jungle, which is why they managed to lay down those wards. So very good awareness.
Look at the CS difference in the top lane. It's 40, right? And this is largely from Mayo finding her own advantages. The wave control is actually really good. Look at what she's doing. She's consistently freezing in front of her turret, not using Q unless she wants to trade for it. Like, basically, she only walks in if she can land Q1, Q2, and possibly Q3. She's not using her Qs to push the wave up. She's narrowly missing it and forcing Boozy Life to take disadvantageous trades.
Yeah, our knowledge of how to play that Aatrox is pretty unparalleled. We were talking 40 CS difference. This is actually her first hit back to base, and she even still has the teleport. She's not going to use it. She's going to instead walk back to lane, going to keep the teleport for a team fight since she's already at the level 8 mark, so teleport could potentially be important.
This top lane is actually over right now because Mayo has 20% CDR. And Aatrox gets so obnoxious the more CDR takes up. Hold on, bot lane coming in for the play. It's going to be Lustreless with a great flash body slam that finds Vicky here in the slow from the barrel and a great explosive cast as well. Vicky possibly shouldn't have flashed there. You could have think that was a mistake, but she was anxious to get to safety. So right there, 2 kills converted in the bot lane. They will trade the prio though. After losing 2 members, they will be able to get the Rift Herald on the top side, whereas Lustreless and company will be moving over to the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, so Team Callisto right here just trying to make the best of a bad situation. They lost their entire bot lane, which is pretty bad for them because bot is kind of where they had their biggest lead. As you're saying, they have such a deficiency over in the top side. So losing both Vicky as well as Decor, it's gonna cost them quite a bit. Also, they do lose the Dragon. Although they did manage to pick up the Rift Herald. The thing is, Rift Herald, you need to be able to win a skirmish and have your lane pushed out to really maximize the
Right.
potential that you get from Shelly. The thing is, the way things are going right now, that doesn't look like it will happen in the next few
I
minutes.
think the timing right now though is 1 minute. If they can't find a window to use the Rift Herald in 1 minute, they will probably end up using it in a subpar position. So like you said, you know, you have to find a kill and then transition into a Rift Herald. Bot lane might be the play here as Glacial Prison is available. They are going to pull the trigger on this fight though as they go all in onto Claria, but that is an extremely tanky Leona as the Shockwave is used by Foxy. Aya is going to find a kill onto Decor as Lustreless walks down now, so using the curtain call, Candleburn is going to tank this one up unless they can thread it through, and they will!
Oh!
Hello Light just now, it was the Shockwave that was hijacked, but re-engaging onto this fight is going to be the ladies on the side of Asterix. They're looking to clean up the fight here as Callisto is very low. Candleburn is still chasing Instant once more, goes for the double, looking for the triple now. Can she find the finishing blows? Zenith Blade not connecting, but a Clink Slayer for her to heal up and get the kills there. They lose Aya, but they manage to pick up another 3, and Asterix, they dip, dodge, and dive and trade advantageously.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see the point in the game where things are being carried away from Team Callisto. I think we're starting to see that gap really start to widen. It's about 2,500 at the 11-minute mark. Score 7-1. Asterix doesn't quite yet have the first blood tower. It's kind of the only advantage that Callisto have going for them, the fact that they still have Shelly and can try and put that into the lane that Asterix do decide to try and go for the first blood tower for, but pretty much every single other advantage firmly in the hands of Team Asterix.
I gave you the sort of timer of a minute, and I think Asterix hitting all the right marks within that timer means that right now, that Rift Herald has very little value. It's almost inconsequential now. Even though you manage to trade, you know, a couple objectives for Rift Herald, there is no good lane you can put it down for you to snowball your lead. You will get some gold as a consolation, but that's all it is. You won't find a Rift Herald into a turret into a gold lead. Now we'll finish off the Scuttle Crab in the top side. Dragon should be up relatively soon as well. The first one being a Cloud, the second one here. I'm gonna throw it on the Rift Herald in the mid lane. Might just get one charge off, but we're looking for the kill onto Korn as they trade out for out. Asterix is coming in here with the body slam as well as the explosive cast, and they should be able to find the kill here. Great angle on the entry there from Lustreless, and like I said, you know, it's an extremely subpower Rift Herald. They're looking for the re-engage onto Lustreless, who uses the stopwatch perfectly to mitigate the CC coming in. Foxy trying to get the kill, will find it onto Lustreless, but everyone else from Asterix arrives, and here comes the raid boss. It's gonna be Mayo with the damage. They donate the kill over onto Claria, which is not the best target, but Mayo arriving means that they should be able to get mid-tier 1.
Yep, so they do lose Lustreless in that skirmish, but they are going to be able to pick up 2 plates. I want to say 2 plates. Yep, they've got Claria as well, so nope, they're going to back off.
Okay.
Pick up 1 plate, and they're just content enough to let Boozy Life pick up those minions and back out, but that R from Lustreless, the explosive cast, that was almost instant.
She knows her rangers so well. Like, what is the limit of the body slam, and how can I chain it into a knockback so that Candleburn brings the damage, right? Things down. The core is going to be clearing out the wards. They're extremely afraid of any deep vision that's being placed in, because then that mitigates the ability for Korn to get around the map and make plays. Taking stock of the situation, items being completed for mid laners. It's going to be a Ludens on the side of Foxy. Meanwhile, Candleburn already completing the Proto Belt, so gap closing is no issue for her.
Yeah, Vicky, however, as we were saying, you know, she's pretty much the
Stormraiser.
Yep, she has finished the Storm Wizard. Pretty much, for Team Callisto, they're gonna want to hope that Vicky can carry through this game. Aya still just the BF sword opted to instead spend the 1100 gold on the Greaves, so definitely item advantage in bot. It's going to go over to Vicky for now.
As Reckless puts it, Greaves is a very non-interactive item. You buy it because you just want to push 24/7. You don't want to fight. You know that you don't have the damage or the toolkit to fight, so you just get it. So you get the Greaves so that the game becomes non-interactive. You auto attack, push the wave, take plates back off. Engage
for
to the mid lane here. Shockwave in. The counter Shockwave being used by Foxy will pull her back in. Not enough damage to finish the kill, as barrier was expanded once more by Foxy, but Lustrous is on the hunt. Predator is available. If she can get into range, it's gonna be the explosive cast. Have a drink. You look a little tilted, and now they will be able to move over to the dragon itself. The Inferno Dragon is up, and I think Asterix here should be able to take it. Dredge line in, they're finding a little bit of a miscommunicated fight as Clara uses the Zenith Blade to jump back in. Here comes the teleport though. Is it Cannibal or Mayo that arrives? If it's both, well, I don't know what to say here as Corner is gonna fall. It is the TP coming in from Mayo that gives them a bit more of a advantage in this fight.
The cherry on top of that cake was when they also managed to get the red buff steal. Just casually getting the red buff.
Throw everything but the kitchen sink, eventually you get what you want. It's fine.
Red buff,
Asterix logic
Infernal
works.
Dragon, kill onto Foxy. Half health onto this mid tier 1.
We'll have to see whether Boozy can actually get anything done in the top side, because they've traded a lot of tempo for this. Essentially, they hard commit wrongly in the mid and in the jungle, bottom half quadrant. So Boozy, as the recipient of those generous donations in terms of time spent, needs to get something done here, but she will not be able to do so as Cannibal walks up.
Yeah,
No plates, no turrets.
yeah, this is difficult, especially for a Boozy Life, the item buy, because she's got Tabbies and I think the Everest Blade, which really just means that she's got no damage output at this point. She's got no damage output, she's not even really a tank.
Well, Everest Blade is the old name. It's Execution's calling.
Oh
right now.
yeah.
That's how old
Okay.
Jenny is. Yeah.
Okay, boomer. Oh no, that was my boomer moment. I've been exposed.
There was a time where gold and Philostone was a thing.
Philostone.
Everest, and then you had like Gangplank who would actually use Everest Blade.
Bank plank.
Yeah,
What?
like the old Gangplank you built Heart
Yeah.
of Gold, Philostone,
Yes.
Everest Blade, and you just farm and then you
Mhm.
scale with like your GP5 items.
Heart of Gold Gangplank was broken. So
It's quite funny
broken.
because you just go even lane and suddenly you come up with like an extra Infinity Edge or something.
Yeah.
You're like, where's the gold coming from? You open the vault like Harry Potter's bank vault, like Gringotts.
I'm rich.
Yeah, like actually I'm rich, you know.
I'm rich. My parents are rich.
Bit of a pause coming in, so hopefully we will find out what's going on here.
Yeah, I think Candleburn had some connectivity issue in
Hi-yo.
between game 1 and game 2 as well. Hi-yo.
Corn did reconnect, so I think we can't put it all on Canterbury.
Yeah, I know Candleburn restarted her
yeah.
computer.
Every game, right? She,
Yeah,
she
every
needs it like
game.
fresh.
Actually,
kind of-
now that I think about it, when I play with Candleburn like Norms or
ARAMs and
ARAMs,
Norms, right.
she actually, this does happen a
Like
lot to
restart
her as well.
computer.
Yeah, she's like, wait, I restart. Like what? It's been years. How have you not fixed this problem?
Maybe it's like a ritualistic thing. Like she's kind of like superstitious, so if she doesn't restart it, she cannot play properly. Maybe it's that.
Or if she doesn't restart, she thinks, wait, but my com might die if I don't
Yeah, yeah,
restart
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So like now there's time, let me
Mm.
restart it.
Or like a OCD thing as well. Like it has to be restarted every time.
Just get a new computer. Look.
All right, we're back in the game. 4 seconds in, Vicky is gonna be able to clear out the wave, and like we said, the saving grace for Callisto has always significantly been Vicky's ability to stay relevant, regardless of how her teammates are doing. Even though they've been ganks in the bot lane, even though Illustrious has been putting the pressure down, Vicky is still on top of her game, staying competitive in terms of CS as well as items.
All right, back into game finally for match point.
16.5 minutes in. structures are still all on the map, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah, the one good thing that Foxy has going for her right now is that her mid tier 1 is still up. We've seen Asterix actually put a lot of focus on the mid side at tier 1. They've tried to gank her at least 2 or 3 times, but they still haven't managed to take down the tower just yet. So that at least gives Kallisto a bit more breathing room.
Rift Herald being started up right now should not be contested because Vicky, your strongest member, is actually in the bottom lane. So if you fight this, it's a 4v5 and you are opting into a bad fight. So what you should be doing now is running down mid tier 1 and trying to get prio so you could possibly knock down the structure. Fundamentally speaking, Kallisto should be understanding this to make the play happen instead of dawdling around, and because of that, they are going to be losing out a lot in terms of opportunity costs.
Yeah, I think what Vicky has chosen to do is pretty smart. She's actually just going to get some more damage down onto this bottom side tier 1. They don't go up the minion wave though. TP is going to come up from Candoburn to make sure that their bot doesn't go down.
But because they didn't get mid prio earlier, it's so simple for Lustrous, who has already collected the Rift Herald, to just walk the wave in and get the charge down and take mid tier 1. So if you know you can't contest Baron, Rift Herald, here's a pro tip. Walk up and push mid so you can buy time and force them to clear the wave. That way your team can regroup and contest.
Exactly.
Speaking of regroup and contesting, they will land the Glacial Prison on top of the Leona, but remember that's a super tanky support with the Aftershock and the Stopwatch. So she's not going to go down anytime soon. In fact, using the Zen Blade to lead back. Meanwhile, in the front of it, it's going to get rooted up, and a 1-for-1 trade will ensue. Now re-engaging in the fight is the core, and she will get kited away. Candoburn stealing the Shockwave, will be able to finish off Foxy, and here comes Mayo for the last kill. I say the last kill. It's going to be Vicky that immediately gets popped. Boozy Life, the only member left here, still standing for the side of Kallisto, will be recalling and watching her mid tier 2 go down.
Yeah, and just like that, Asterix just blew the map wide open, picking up the mid-side tier 1 as well as tier 2 in quick succession. As you were saying, you know, push out mid. You know that Asterix have been so telegraphed. They really wanted that mid-side tier 1. You know that they're going to use Shelly, put it down in the mid lane. So why not push mid and just delay that for a bit? I mean, sure, you delay it for a couple seconds. You know, there's no real stopping Asterix at this point from picking up
It's kind of
both towers. It's just good habits, right?
like when I watch a team, I look for the fundamentals, and like that is a fundamental skill you should understand. The ability to trade prio and trade pressure. If you can't take up objective and you're not going to fight, push a lane, because then that buys you space, that buys you time. Look at the best teams in the world that do this. G2, even though they are losing, they are still pushing sideways like no tomorrow, because they know that draws pressure away from wherever your opponents are pushing down.
G2, were we watching the same G2 from last night?
In fact, against Schalke, against Schalke, they were doing this like 100% of the game, right? Every time they were losing, Perks is always in the side wave, just pushing, getting inhibitors. Makes it very annoying to play against.
RIP forgiven.
You can't say his name, he's gonna show up.
If you say the name thrice, we summon it.
Either you can be the best, or hold on, Mayo coming in for the play here in the bot lane, the core and Vicky getting caught, but Lustrous is actually here with the Predator and the explosive cast to knock Vicky back in. Korn is arriving as well, but I'm not sure how much of this they want to take the bite out of, because the teleport from Boozy is going to force Mayo to back off as well. Current call being used, Mayo just barely getting outside the range of the ultimate. Will get stunned up by the Permafrost, but everyone on the side of Asterix is actually joining in right now, so they're both taking turns overextending and chasing the play, but you have to think that Asterix are super comfortable just walking this one down and looking for the kills. Stealing the dominance away, using it for herself, and finally getting to safety is Vicky and Boozy Life.
Yeah, one thing that we really have to commend Asterix on, especially watching them play for the last 2 or 3 years, is the fact that they're so good at following up. A lot of times you see maybe one of the members of Asterix in a position that they shouldn't be in, but then there's instant TP, instant follow-up, instant roaming down from the rest of the team, and they're just so good at saving those what might otherwise be bad situations. We did see Foxy pick up the mid-tier 1 finally, 21-minute mark, but that is going to allow Asterix the space to pick up their 3rd dragon of the game.
You know, blue buff is going to be donated over to Candoburn. Right now, 6,000 is the goal lead, and 2 structures ahead are Asterix. You can see the prio right now shift towards the top half. There are still both structures available on that side of the map. And I feel like if you move over, you can knock those down. It opens up the Baron for you as well. I think in the previous game, 21 minutes, Asterix were far ahead enough to actually attempt the Baron and take it for themselves. So this time,
Oh yeah, they started
a
at
bit
like
slower.
10 seconds past
Yeah.
20, and then they shredded it so fast as well.
It's a bit delayed this time, but they are still shifting their attention to the top half like we more or less expected.
Yeah, a bit delayed, but their lead is no less dominant. I mean, 22 minutes in, 6,000, gold up 3-2-1 is the tower score, 17 and 4 is the kills. Another like thing to point out for Team Asterix, this game, Aya is the one who has that overwhelming lead, 7-1 and 2, 500 gold bounty. We were praising
Oh,
Mayo.
there you go.
Yep.
Now this
The
is
sneaky Baron.
this is being snuck, but the problem is you can see the feathers actually with the shrine being put down. Now with the Scrying Orb, they will be spotted out. Lusher is very low and so is Aya. They're splitting up in multiple directions. Meanwhile, the focus right now is actually on Lustreless as she's going to get caught out inside the river. Claria now jumping into the backline. Mayonnaise arriving in time to help change the shape of the fight. They immediately pick off Boozy Life, and Mayo in the front tacking up and healing up from everyone. They find the Sejuani, they find the Renekton, and they get everyone else. Now scattering like the wind is going to be Foxy and Vicky. Mayo arriving, did so much work for her team with the lifesteal as well as the AoE damage. There's really enough space for the Ladies of Callisto to do anything. Vicky now walking in. I'm not sure if that's the best play because Flash is available for Clara. She's going for the play now. They're going for the kill. Lustreless will go down in the end, but Foxy is going to fall soon after as well. The Flash, you have to think a bit of a mistake there.
Oh, that's the tilt. Bit of a mistake. I mean, Vicky, absolutely no reason to throw it back in
Don't
as the
make this
80
play.
carry.
Don't go for the Baron right now. I feel like there is a lot of
Oh no, they've only got about
possible issues right now
10
because
seconds. The respawn from Callisto, they're already making their way towards the pit, and so low too, especially Claria and Candleburn.
Sejuani is here. She has the Flash, she has the Smite. They could possibly go for this play if they have the vision, but just barely in time they secure it. Asterix playing with fire there.
Whew,
Could have
that,
gone a lot more worse than what we saw.
that was risky.
In fact, the 100% advantageous play would have been just to walk top lane and take top tier 1 and then back off and reset because there was no way that they could have done, at least the opponents, Callisto could have done the Baron themselves.
Yeah, that was the ideal outcome for them because actually, say Claria had died there, and then you lose Baron buffs on your members who are low as well, so you get even less utility.
Vicky, though, still building towards the Infinity Edge. Only one item right now. Like we said, Aya is the one with the biggest lead this game for her team. Holding on to the Infinity Edge as well as the Essence Reaver and looking to build into a Bloodthirster as well, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this Asterix roster, is that pretty much 2 out of the 3 of Mayo, Candleburn, and Aya in any given game have the potential to carry. I mean, we saw in the earlier game where it was Mayo on the Mordekaiser that Asterix were focusing their attention on. This game, we saw Mayo get that very good lead over in the start, but Aya, this time, I mean, girl is shining.
Aya's definitely popping off this time, like you said. Maybe not the best game, the previous one, so right now we should pay attention to Mayo, who is split pushing, does not have the TP, will be possibly isolated as the members of Callisto walk to the top side. But just as I say that, the TP immediately comes in from Candleburn, and pulling the trigger was the wrong decision here for the Ladies of Callisto. Great explosive cast to knock Corrin back in, but not enough range to get her within the space of aggression. They're pushing down the top tier 2, and because they do have the minions streaming in from Baron, they will be able to take this without any problems. Now pushing in as well is Kendo leading the charge, stolen the death charge actually, and going into the fight. The Shockwave catches 2 members, and here comes the current call. Maybe Callisto can turn this one around, but immediately taken off the map is going to be the Renekton. They trade for Mayo though, as Aya pops them with the Featherstorm and the Blade Caller. Jumping in now, the last member is going to be Vicky, and it's okay if Mayo dies, it's okay if Candleburn dies, because Aya brings the damage.
Death timer is about 20-30 seconds in because the game, and we're not that far into the game, we're only about 26 minutes in. So Corn's actually going to be respawning along with Decor in about 5 more seconds. So I think the play for Asterix here is, yep, they pick up the top side
And
inhibitor tower, the inhibitor, and then they actually have to back out because the death timers are so short. But what a fight.
I love this call coming in from Lustreless. She knows that I don't really have to recall here. In fact, what I should be doing is clearing the vision around this dragon pit and walking over so that my team firstly has prio, secondly they can't check into this, and thirdly guarantees that we get the dragon soul.
Yep, fourth dragon, Dragon Soul, going the way of Asterix. Pretty soon though, there is Corn still with the possibility of the Q over the
doesn't matter.
wall at...
They've started it up, the prio is here, everyone is here to fight as well. If you are Callisto walking in, this is a suicide attempt at best.
Vicky looks like she might get caught out over in the back line. Absolutely bursted down by Candleblur and Explosive Cast. Trying to catch out Decor, are going to be popped as well. Easy double kill from Candleblur, but Asterix not done
Iris
yet.
just
Chasing
gonna
onto
finish her off.
Corn.
Stoneplate might keep her alive for a second longer, but she's going to get pulled in, and like I said earlier, suicide attempt.
You can't say those words on cast, Hungry.
Right now, just finishing off the game is going to be Asterix, and they're just walking in the bot side. They have the Ocean Soul, which means that the healing is solid, and top inhibitor was already broken open in the previous push. This is the final nail in the coffin, as cliched as that sounds, because Asterix are going to close this game out without any competition or resistance at least. I don't know. It seems like Callisto want to make a final stand, but they're not fully sure because they're getting chunked out.
Yeah, all the ultimates, except for Serrani ultimates, are up right now, actually. If there's any time at all for Callisto in the last 2 days to make a stand, this is absolutely the time and the place.
Between the Nexus turrets is where they have to defend, and if they can hold on to their own, they might be able to extend their career in the FSL qualifiers. But right now, getting caught by the Shockwave is going to be in front line. Pulling in the back line, though. Everyone is just kiting back slowly and surely, buying space for Aya because they know that the AD carry is going to output the damage that they need. Meanwhile, Candleblur jumping in. Corn is the next to go down. Foxy, the captain of this roster, will get slammed down by Mayo, and a triple kill for the mid laner, a double for Mayo. And right now, the Nexus is going to fall, which means that Asterix is going to be a Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesian server representatives for the FSL Elite event later this year.
Yep, huge congratulations to our Team Asterix squad here from Singapore. There will be the Singapore, Malaysia, as well as Indonesia representatives in this season's Female Esports League Elite.
They were the Season 1 representatives. Season 2, they were like, it's okay guys, we'll give you a chance. We're going to Korea. Now they're back with a vengeance, and they've shown in dominant form that they deserve to be the representatives. And look at the damage done right now. My goodness. That is a sickening amount of damage coming in from Candleburn, who is an assassin, quote, air quotes. That's mage poke level damages.
Yep. I mean, she's an assassin style player,
Yeah, right.
so you give her Silas and anything can happen those
Yeah.
2 games. But I mean,
It's
yep.
been an awesome 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel impressed with the level of play coming in? I feel like watching each region has given us a better idea of what to expect for FSL Elite, so...
Yeah, I'm really excited actually for to see the winners from the previous qualifiers. Of course, once again, V Gaming from Vietnam, Team Lannister from Thailand, as well as Liab Esports from Philippines. I'm interested to see how they stack up against Asterix. I mean, the 2 games that we saw from Team Asterix, they're pretty dominating, but I think especially in that game 1, could have been a bit cleaner. We do see them sometimes, they get those leads and then they start doing things that, they know that they shouldn't do.
If you're like the coach, you like write in a notebook, okay guys.
You're like,
this
that's the
Yep.
coma, that coma face into the notebook right there. And
or the
I think-
CV Max though.
the belt.
Yeah.
No, and because from the earlier qualifiers, Lannister as well as Liab Esports, since this is their second time making it into FSL Elite, they've gone up against Team Asterix before, and I think that's what's gonna make this matchup even more exciting. Is that everyone facing off again. Asterix, we've seen them make these mistakes last time, and hopefully they'll fix it this season.
But just to remind our viewers that FSL Elite, as its current iteration, it was originally slated to be on the 7th and 8th of March, of course, is a bit postponed right now because of the coronavirus advisory going around, so we can't really hold a tournament just yet.
Mhm.
Do stay tuned to our socials on the FSL page because that is where all the announcements will be, and you can find all the information there as well. Any last words from you, Jenny?
Whew. Of course, we like to thank our sponsors, without whom, of course, this season and our previous seasons of
Yeah.
FSL would not have been made possible. Of course, huge shout out to Dreamcourt, Super Solid, Yahoo, and Aftershock for being our PC monitor, media, as well as
Yes.
hardware sponsors for this event.
Yeah, with that, if you've got to find us at any of our social media pages, I think you can just like
Tikara.
literally go there and just Google that. You'll probably
This
find
way,
something.
this way.
Just
Yeah.
Google that, you'll find something, and of course, stay tuned, like we mentioned, to the FSL page for the Elite announcements. And for all the other titles that we're running, of course, we'll put all the links up there. But for now, guys, thank you so much for sticking through with us for 2 days of awesome qualifiers. We'll see you guys when the announcement's been made, and we'll probably see you at FSL Elite. Have a good evening. See you guys later.